on my way back from receiving some of the rights that I'll now receive the rest of soon. And ultimately, I wanted to make this message because I'm still listening to the next CD in Soul Contracts with Carolyn Mace and Andrew Harvey, except for now I'm listening to Andrew Harvey. And he was talking about how at the end of our lives we will be asked, what did you do to instill hope in the hearts of those who need to hear from you as the world is burning? And so I just wanted to share that paraphrased question because I got confused as to where I'm supposed to go in this moment, since I don't have my GPS on and I am following my own guidance as I now maneuver through unfamiliar roads, highways, and I simply ask you what you will say when at the end of your day, the final one, you get to live and breathe, remembering birth and death are literally what start and end life with breath. Be death, breath. Breathe. So, breath is all we do the entire duration of the time we are here. And so I ask you what you will be able to say you did to inspire hope, to help others keep going when the dark night of the ego and the dark light of the soul get so big that you don't even know how to console yourself anymore. And I will share that several years ago, I was on a quest for enlightenment. I was questing, not that I've stopped, but now I do it more responsibly. And it was through DMT ceremonies, 8 of them within a short period, clear water structures. I cleared a lot of water and also brought up a lot in the process too. And ultimately, I remember in one of those ceremonies where I was in some real deep, dark stuff emotionally. And I want to say to you that there is a whole DSM 54321 that have been created in line with insurance policies, because that's the only way that illness can be profitable. To diagnose it, doctor diagnosed me. Dr. SOS actually was the one that got me under the Form 1. In fact, Dr. SOS. Dr. Sullivan, I never met him. I didn't know who he was. He didn't matter so much, but the implications of what he chose was best for me certainly impacted me greatly. And ultimately, I say that because personality disorders are not understood. And what I propose is the recognition of the fact that our emotions, each emotional state, has a different experience based on our ability and willingness to accept or not accept aspects of ourselves that then show up as personas, personalities, persons that seem to be the character we are playing in that moment, until then we shift into another, and it too may be an unaccepted, unappreciated, unacknowledged aspect of ourselves that is greatly pained. And we look at it with disdain, and how do you control this? Suppress it, repress it, compress it, deny it, cut it out if it's possible, though you cannot with the mind. So you just numb it, numb the pain. Well, it's time to move out of that false way of maintaining separation, and to say that going back to the DMT ceremonies, the one actually where I rebirthed myself, and it was a profound experience with the assistance of the shaman and the other man that was in the ceremony that got too freaked out because of the it hurts, and my screaming, because it was very painful to go first through my own birth again, and then to go through the rebirth of the new me, which now you see another version of me, which has had other personalities come up with the unintegrated, unaccepted, unappreciated, intolerable aspects of me too. We remember our fallen heroes, it says. Fallen soldiers, I turned it to heroes, because that's what we're told to idolize outside of ourselves. Full respect given to the men and women who lose their souls for the sake of fighting some other man or woman behind closed doors, their battles for the ego. That's ultimately what we fight for. We do it in the name of our country, but the borders themselves, come on. Can't we see how the boxes have just kept we separate from the same source that we all come from and return to and only feel separate from in the meantime? So in that ceremony, I keep digressing, but you're used to that by now because it's me and that's my way. In that ceremony, it was so painful. And I remember, Speedy's on the way, we like to get there quick. I'm a quick mover, so I am one that likes to maneuver through all of my emotional states quickly too, so not better in any way, but what I did in that moment, all vision. This is time for us to realign. Come back into this moment. So I remember in so much pain, scream your own name. Truly, when we scream to the divine, can we not align with the fact that we have a God spark within? Say the same source, kaboom, pow. If you live in Toronto area and you're Dufferin and Yorkdale, you'll know where I am. Based on the signs that you'll see me bring into the moment, because I use my environment as you are encouraged to too, says the soul in front of me now too. So I was in so much pain in that ceremony. I was trying to console myself and I didn't know how, because previously, as we seem to have been in this cult, you are culture, I was trying to find solace outside of myself. And what I did in that experience, when there was no one else, I was in this ceremony, I had signed up for it myself, I had arranged it myself, so I was in it and I had support, but he couldn't do it for me. And so I remember saying to myself, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And at first it was just this like, fast, quick, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It was going as fast as I was. But as I came back into the sacredness of the space, of the moment, of the now, what I found after I got the frenzy, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, of my trauma out, then it was like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And I just repeated that to myself until it was okay, again. And then I learned a self-soothing technique that I hope, my friend, helps you where you are with whatever it is that you're going through. Because what I know is it's not easy to rebirth yourself. It is not easy to go through this collective rebirthing that we are all experiencing together. either. And yet, at the end of our lives, when we are asked, what did you do for humanity? I know that I will be able to say I did my best to remind you it's okay. And to give you that simple hack to call yourself back to the present now moment where all your power exists. So I hope this message serves you. I would love to hear what it means to you and for you down below. And if you need to send me a private message, then please do. Laura@ljeh.ca is the way you can do so, or simply go to ljeh.ca and sign up for messages from me to thee. The one that needs to have that reminder of who you are and came here to be, not because I have the key or the answers specifically, but what I do have is compassion for where you're at, based on where I've been, what I've seen, and where I believe we're all going together, which is to a higher level of awareness within the spiral staircase of awareness. For it feels like sometimes we are not even moving when we go to a higher level, because it is just around the same spiral. And yet, your perspective changes, and with every new level comes a new devil, new neighbors, higher rent, and better views. So, I hope that offers you some solace and also triggers you and activates you, because that's what I intend to do. If we don't get shook, if we don't get shocked, if we don't get snapped out of our not nows so we can come back, we stay in a fiction. Like this whole cult you are culture that we're living in, society is based off of. And our young ones are being targeted in a way that is not okay. So one day I will reach them. And if you know one who needs this message, send it along their way and say, hey, she's a little weird. 888 is the license plate in front. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because I accept myself, even when I have not been accepted by the ones that I thought would, but could not. If they don't accept themselves, how could they possibly give it to me? They may think they do, because it seems to be working based on their buy-in to someone else's dream. They are trading their lives in order to seem good enough, acceptable. That will fall away sooner than later, even though it doesn't appear to be the way it's going to play out. I see it. And I will be there to help call you back home. And what I would recommend is you do the inner work sooner than later. Because when you get shook, if you don't have the inner practice, when the outside falls, the way that our identity has been vested outside of ourselves, we go stir crazy, because our world has been stirred and we have no center. I've been marinating in the crock pot of growth, development, inner excavation for years. More than a decade, in my 34. And so I've learned a few tricks and hacks, and the greatest is to say I don't have the answer, but I can hold space like a mofo. So, with that, I bid you adieu. Send love and say thank you for doing your part to help someone else remember they don't have to be perfect either. Because perfection is not and never has been the goal until we externalized our whole. outside of ourselves and forgot we were whole within when we actually turned inward instead of basing our identity on that which can be taken away, because what is outside of us is not ours. We come in alone, naked, and we will leave, maybe clothed, but ultimately the soul is all that you will leave whole with. And I really hope that more of us will be willing to do the inner work in order to actually call back more of the fragments, which are those personalities that we judge so fiercely and then try to just get away because they're not comfortable. We don't know how to play with them. Well, we've forgotten how to play, unless it's sex involved as adults, it seems. Well, F that. Let's learn how to actually play gently and kindly together without using people, because it sucks to be used. It sucks the soul. And then knowing that we have done that, oh wow. Love, trust, God. The rear view on the back of a really high sign. How does that get up there unless by the divine? Through you who did it, if you're watching. Or the one that did, that is a reflection of you and me too. 88888. There's 6 8s in my view on 2 license plates. How about that? I'd love to know what this means now that there's been more after the first. I'm trying to get better at putting it in faster and saying, hey, let's connect truly. And let me know what this means to you, for you, and what you're going to do with it, and how you are doing your part to leave this world better, more whole, because you did the inner work to call back more of your soul. Namaste.